Hi, my name is Savir and I am currently a sophomore at William Mason High School in Mason, Ohio. And today I will be presenting to you my research on the role of the Western diet on neurodegenerative disease, cancer, and gut microbiota. So, for the purpose of this research, we identified the Western diet to be high intakes of prepackaged foods, refined grains, red meat, processed meat, high sugar drinks, candy, sweets, fried foods, conventionally raised animal products, high fat dairy products, and high fructose products. So, just as a quick introduction here, according to the American Cancer Society, the number of colorectal cancers in the United States alone is roughly 107,000, of which there will be roughly 53,000 deaths in 2025 alone. One of the biggest risk factors for developing gastrointestinal illness and other types of illness is your diet. And with the Western diet being a more predominantly widespread diet, especially in countries like the United States, this paper aims to assess the impact or change in risk factors that the Western diet has on the following three categories: cancer, neurodegenerative disease, and the gut microbiota. In order to conduct this research, a systematic review was done following PRISMA guidelines using keywords such as cancer, gut microbiota, neurodegenerative, and cancer. A total of 236 articles were scanned, and through the PRISMA guidelines that were followed and my exclusion criteria, this process led to 10 articles that were ultimately used in the research. And as you can see in figure 4 here, we have the PRISMA diagram along with my exclusion and my process for screening. So on to results now. So for neurodegenerative results, the general idea of these results is that the Western diet supports neurological issues such as Alzheimer's. So just for some quick background information here, a protein fragment exists that is naturally produced in the brain known as amyloid beta. So normally in the brain, this protein fragment is cleared out after it is produced, but in cases such as Alzheimer's, we see this build up into amyloid plaques when it is not cleared out. And as you can see in figure 1, this shows just how amyloid plaques build up, as the orange represents these plaques surrounding the blue, which is the neurons. So these amyloid plaques essentially disrupt neuron connections and lead to cases such as Alzheimer's. And the role that the Western diet plays in this is that the Western diet prevents these plaques from being cleared out by damaging the blood-brain barrier and causing inflammation. So a study done on a certain type of mice showed that the Western diet essentially disrupted glucose and fatty acid metabolism, and further analysis found the presence of cytotoxic T cells in the brain and a disrupted plasma metabolism, showing signs of a weakened and disrupted blood-brain barrier. This imbalance can worsen insulin resistance, oxidative stress, and inflammation, all leading to a weaker blood-brain barrier and a higher risk for Alzheimer's when the Western diet is consumed. Now on to cancer. So a study was done on mice where researchers compared the Western diet to a control diet and found that the Western diet led to more severe and prolonged colitis in mice that consumed the Western diet. So if we look to figure 3, we see 3 different graphs representing tumor multiplicity, tumor size, and tumor burden respectively. And in the data, the dark blue represents the Western diet, and to the left of it, the gray data represents the control diet. As you can see from the research, we see that the tumor multiplicity, burden, and size are all significantly greater than the control diet, leading to my research indicating that there is higher tumorigenesis in the colon when consuming the Western diet. Additionally, two prospective cohort studies were done analyzing the interaction between diet and certain gut bacteria and found that gut bacteria containing PKS plus E. coli was found in more tumors in the Western diet. And this certain strain of E. coli was known for creating colobactin, which causes double-stranded breaks in DNA, significantly increasing someone's risk for colon cancer. Now, finally, gut microbiota. So for gut microbiota, a study was done assessing the changes to the gut microbiota and showed that the Western diet lowered microbial alpha diversity and likely by disrupting the regulation of immune-related genes in the colon. And essentially, this harmed intestinal balance. And additionally, another separate study showed that the Western diet damages circadian rhythmacy and encourages bacterial proliferation, harmful to gut homeostasis, as mentioned earlier. All of which, when combined, is detrimental to the gut microbiota. So, when combined with circadian misalignment, as mentioned earlier, these effects intensify, leading to increasingly severe dysbiosis. Additionally, observing certain intestinal genes such as PER3 and clock linked these disruptions to impaired lipid metabolism and a higher risk of metabolic disease. So, in conclusion, my research finds that the Western diet alters metabolic pathways, decreases gut microbiome diversity, supports the growth of dangerous strains of E. coli known for causing double-stranded breaks in the colon, in the DNA in the colon, and increasing your risk for colon cancer, enhancing colon tumorigenesis, increasing inflammation in the colon, and finally impairing the body's ability to clear amyloid beta by disrupting the blood-brain barrier, therefore increasing the risk of neurodegenerative disease. Future research should be done regarding investigating how various dietary changes may impact these risk factors by reducing the prevalence of chronic diseases. Together, these findings highlight that the Western diet is not just a pattern, it is a modifiable public health risk factor that influences many parts of your body, including the brain and cancer development. As chronic diseases continue to rise in the United States and globally, understanding how diet shapes our inflammation, metabolism, and long-term disease risk is essential for understanding how to prevent these illnesses. My research shows that there needs to be stronger public health initiatives that promote nutrition education, improve access to healthier foods, and encourage communities to shift away from highly processed, high-fat dietary patterns. If we want to reduce healthcare burdens and close health disparities to support healthier future generations, we must treat diet as a central part of public health, not just an afterthought. By prioritizing dietary awareness and continuing to study how everyday choices affect our biology, we create a healthier, more resilient population in the future for years to come. Thank you so much for listening to my research.